KHOU 11 meteorologist Kim Castro here with a tropical update. Hurricane Hunter measurements now do confirm we have Tropical Storm Idalia in the Caribbean. It is Sunday, August 27th, 2023. Let's get you caught up on what we're seeing right now. So, sustained winds at 40 miles an hour with this tropical storm barely fulfilling the criteria, moving east at 2 miles an hour. So basically stationary right now. It is stuck right here, and this is where it's going to start to get a little bit better organized. Once it breaches the Caribbean and heads to the Gulf, that's when things are really going to pick up the pace quickly. But for the time being, as it's stuck here in the channel, it looks like it is going to remain a tropical storm. Here's a look at visible imagery. We're continuing to see a defined area of low pressure. We can see that with the breaks in the clouds in the last few frames. You'll see maybe we could start to develop into an eye right there. Quite a bit of convection. We're starting to see the first peaks of that clearing in the center of the storm. We're also seeing the ventilation at the top with those cirrus clouds wrapping around in a clockwise motion, counterclockwise at the surface there. So tropical system fully developing at this point, and it is expected to continue to do so here over the next few days. Water vapor imagery showing us a lot of moisture that it's got to work with there, but it might have a little tougher time getting more momentum in the short term still, because we're watching a little bit of some drier air from a ridge here, potentially enveloping into the storm. More so than anything, this ridge is going to have the system stuck here for a little while. So I think for the remainder of our Sunday, this is where it's going to be parked. I think as we head into Monday, it'll start to nudge a little bit closer and closer towards the Gulf. And once it does that, it pretty much breaks free from the inhibitors. It's not going to have much wind shear. It's going to have a lot of warm water, and that's when it could really start to develop fast. So just a couple hours ago, it was a tropical depression. Now it got that 40 mile an hour marker, which puts it into tropical storm category. Once it exceeds 73 miles an hour, gets to 74, that's when it'll become hurricane criteria. Here's what the National Hurricane Center has for its progression and the timing of everything. So early to middle portion of Monday, that's when we'll start to get into the Gulf, and after that it'll definitely start to tighten up and potentially become a much stronger system. For now, it is forecasted to have 70 mile an hour winds by Tuesday morning. By the evening, 85 mile an hour wind, Cat 1 hurricane at this point. And the National Hurricane Center is thinking that it'll retain that strength as it's pushing towards a landfall somewhere near Panama City and Tampa. So that cone of uncertainty now honing in a little bit better. Now that we have a tropical system developed, we can start to see what the trajectory might shape up to be by the middle of the week. European model has tightening pressure gradients, so intensifying storm as we head into Wednesday morning. Same consensus there, somewhere between the peninsula to the west coast of Florida, the panhandle I should say, so somewhere near Tallahassee is what the European model is thinking for this landfall. Timing for the American model is actually pretty similar at this point. Ample development in the Gulf, and then by Wednesday morning, very, very similar spot there, but potentially a higher intensity. So the American model thinking right now is that it could develop into a little bit of a stronger hurricane as it's traveling through all of this uninhibited territory with a lot of hot water, warm water at a depth. So we'll continue to watch the potential for this storm system to gain strength here in the next couple of days, but for the time being, it is a low-end tropical storm. Here what the spaghetti plots are thinking, so most of them, dozens of variations here, are thinking the same area, but really central Gulf all the way down to South Florida. Just keep a watchful eye, but this is definitely the focal point now. Panama City towards Tampa. We will continue to update you as we get some new updates on the intensification of this system, but until it gets to the Gulf, which will be sometime on Monday, that's when we'll start to see rapid changes take place. For now, the storm looks to be stationary. It's building, it's getting its bearings. Once it takes off from the Caribbean is when I think it'll take off in terms of its forward momentum and its intensity. Any questions or any comments, please reach out to me on social media. In the meantime, make sure you keep up with the forecast.